from? What do you do? Ask all the same questions to somebody new.
All right. Hey, good morning, everybody. Hope you're doing amazing. And, oh, let me take the camera cover off. Hey, good morning, everybody. Hey, listen, I drink, I know things. I hope this Tuesday morning is amazing for you. And yesterday was a good day, hot day. And, yeah, had some things break here on the ranch and some things get fixed. It's, one of those days. So good morning. I hope everybody is doing amazing. We're going to have a conversation today about how do we have a conversation? How do we prospect somebody's nervous system versus just their wallet? Wait, what? Yeah. How do we prospect? Wouldn't it make sense to understand that we're prospecting somebody's nervous system? And this is whenever we're having a conversation. This is our kids. This is our spouse. This is a potential client, customer. We are prospecting. We are having a conversation with their nervous system, and their nervous system has a program that it follows whenever it gets challenged or gets happy. Doesn't that make sense? So, that being said, let me get to my notes here. Where did my notes go? There they are. Boop. Bring those over here. Good morning. I hope everybody's doing well. Maybe today I'll run into a razor somewhere. So the neural language of digital prospecting. Here's the challenge. I'm pretty good one-on-one. I'm pretty good one-on-many. I can read an audience. I've been trained in that for years. I've done public speaking for 30 years, more than that probably, but probably at least 30 years, publicly speaking in front of an audience, getting paid to publicly speak in front of an audience, selling in front of an audience. And the funny thing is somehow, some way, I've also learned how to understand that digital conversations are not the same. Mark Twain said this: there's words to be said and there's words to be read, and the two shall never meet. And Mark Twain also said, the difference between the right word and the almost right word is the difference between lightning and a lightning bug. So if those philosophies, if those mantras hold true, sometimes we're talking to somebody as if we were talking to somebody, as opposed to writing to somebody. So we're going to have a conversation about that. So I hope all that's okay. If anybody could text Silka the link again, she just sent me a text. It's not working. And evidently it is working because y'all are here. So neural language of digital prospecting, how to text, DM, and converse for conversation. So who's your audience? Who's your audience? Who's the audience that this conversation is for? It's for sales professionals. It's for marketers, anyone in the digital channel designed to wanting to initiate conversations with a prospect. So if that's you, hang on, buckle up, buckle in, and get your notebooks ready. And this is on YouTube, so it'll be there for you for understanding and for reviewing. So here's what happens in the brain on a cold reach out. Think about it. We told marketing, go for no, show up for people, have a conversation, do something. And whether this is on any digital reach out, whether it's responding to a post you made or sending them a DM in Facebook or a text message, if it's a cold contact. Now, what does a cold contact mean? You haven't connected with them in a while. That's all a cold contact means. Now, there's some you've never connected with. It's really a cold contact. So what happens when you send a DM? What happens when you send a text, a cold message? an invitation, a curiosity post, a curiosity gap question. They respond to you on Facebook. They respond to you in a DM, or they respond to you just in a post underneath. They make a comment on a picture and you reach out to them. It's still a cold conversation. They believed it was a one-way dialogue, one-way monologue. So the amygdala is the brain's threat center. When a cold message feels intrusive, now I want you to think about this for yourself. Put yourself on the receiving side for just a moment, because it'll be a lot easier for you to understand why nobody's responding to your stuff. Okay? When a cold message feels intrusive or spammy or overly aggressive, it triggers the fight, flight, or freeze response. That's pretty common sense. Here's my question to you, the marketer. How many times have you tested a message and said, will this trigger the amygdala in my customer, in my prospect? 1 out of 100, how many times? You know what the answer is for most people? 0. Out of 100 messages people have sent out, it is rare that they've ever reviewed and stopped and paused and looked at the message and said, I wonder if that'll trigger the amygdala. Here's the triggers. Here's what triggers the amygdala: unfamiliarity, vagueness, aggressive tone. Hey, do you have enough free time? That's an aggressive tone. And listen, there's people who teach this stuff. They teach go aggressive, be blunt, be bold. Listen, they're not your prospect now. And if you send them a message and they're not your prospect, what did you lose? Okay. All right. Lack of context. Here's an example. Hey, I'd love 15 minutes of your time to demo our product. That seems pretty non-intrusive. That seems pretty simple. It has clarity. But here's how the amygdala gets triggered. What do you think's going through? What would go through your prospect? What would go through your mind? Now, what would go through your prospect's mind? Here's some of the things that typically happen in psychology. When those kinds of questions are used, that kind of connecting language syntax is used. Here's what happens in the amygdala. Why me? What's this about? What do you want? Now, you may be aware that you said it. You may be aware that it happened, but I can promise you, if you're not aware of it, it's happening subconsciously. This is the fight or flight. This is where's the pattern? Will this kill me? Where's the pattern? Will this kill me? Where's the pattern? That's the two things your brain is constantly doing, even right now. That's why if something crashed in your audio area, meaning you heard somebody fall down, you heard plates break, you heard a glass hit the floor, maybe it's a plastic Coca-Cola cup and it hit the floor, and you could tell that water just fell out. How would you know that? You're not even in the right room. Well, you know that because your brain is constantly nexting for stuff like that. What's the emergency I need to prepare for? So here's what happens in the sympathetic nervous system. You activated unsolicited, it's activated by unsolicited demands. And this is a stress response. It's activated by the urgency of the message. It's activated by the pressure of the message. The prospect feels on alert or annoyed, even if unconsciously. So the goal is to avoid triggering defense by being low threat, context aware, and human. So what happens with the parasympathetic nervous system, right? This is the rest and digest. This system in the body, it brings the body into that calm state where trust and curiosity, write that down, trust and curiosity. You don't need to remember it's part of the parasympathetic nervous system. You just want to create trust and possibility, where trust and possibility are possible. Okay? Where trust and possibility are possible. So now the question is, Once that happens, once you realize, oh, wait a minute, I wasn't really adding trust and possibility. You want to use first names and a natural sentence. Use curiosity instead of pressure. Avoid heavy sales language like, let me pitch you, let me show you, let me teach you, let me share with you, which activates suspicion. Look at some of the messages you've received. Does it activate suspicion? Are you suspicious when you get listen, you're suspicious when you get messages from your significant other, right? So here's the language of trust and curiosity. The power of low ask, LOW-ASK, low ask language. The brain likes choices, not coercion. That's pretty simple. We know that. Then why don't we use more of that? Replace hard call to action CTAs with curiosity-based questions. Instead of let's book a call, would it make sense to share a quick idea? Listen, I just want you to just close your eyes for a second if you're in a safe space. And let me just say these two things and feel how it feels in your body. And you know this is coming. You know we're doing this. That's the fun part. Watch how it still triggers in your body. Let's book a call. Would it make sense to share a quick idea? Let's book a call. Would it make sense to share a quick idea? Do you feel a difference? And you know this is language specific to create a difference in the body, and you know it's coming, and your body still reacts accordingly. So here's the other challenge. Or once you understand it, it's a challenge if you didn't know it, right? If I go to, I don't know, what would be an example? Okay, so I go to move my side-by-side here on the ranch. And for some reason, it'll only go so far. And it'll only go so far because I don't know. It's got gas, it's got oil, it's got everything in it, but it'll only go so far. I start it the way I always started. I put it in gear the way I always put it in gear, and then I give it the gas and it goes a little bit and then just stops. I don't know why it stops. I want it to go farther. I want it to go better. I want to be able to get to the other side of the ranch. Why is it stopping? Because it's chained to a tree and I can't see the chain. If somebody comes out and says, hey, you're chained to a tree, I'd be like, what? I never chained it to a tree. I didn't chain it to a tree. No, but regardless, it's chained to a tree. You're not going any farther. That's your prospecting language. You are chained to a tree and you ain't going any farther until you unshackle yourself. So understand that whether you think your language is good or not, your results are showing how your language is working. Make sense? So mirror neurons and familiarity. People respond positively when the language feels like their own. That's not shocking. That's not shocking at all. My question is if you look at your last 5 or 6 reach outs, were you speaking their language or were you speaking your language hoping they interpreted it correctly? They're hoping that they could read your prospecting language and go, this is a nice person. They mean well. They've got good products or services. I should really buy from them. Is that what your language, is that what you were hoping it said? Because I'm guessing it didn't. So mirror neurons and understanding familiarity, this builds rapport even in digital conversations. Use you more than we. Use their identity, lingo lightly. Man, I just want to talk to them about showing them my product, getting them in for a visit, doing a demonstration. So, 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 emotional words that work. Safe words, quick, idea, worth, open, right? These are example words. Quick idea, simple idea. See if it's worth your time. Are you open to the possibilities of having more, right? Quick idea, worth, open. Reduces pressure and increases trust. Curious cues to see if their signal is relevant. See if they're ready to receive. You got to remember, about 95, 96% of the people you reach out to are not in a buying mode. Wait, what? Yeah, nobody wants to tell you that unless you're a true professional marketer. You understand about 90+%, 95% of the people you're about to reach out to are not interested in what you're doing. They're okay if you put them in the pipeline, into the funnel. They're not interested in what you're doing right now. And if you're talking to 3 people and you need those 3 people, chances are you're going to have some stress and anxiety in your conversation. Versus you've got 300 people to talk to. Now you got a better chance of getting 3 easy. The challenge is no one teaches you build your list, build your list, build your list, build your list. We don't build a list and we think, okay, I'll go talk to 5 people. And I hope I get 2. Man, that's some pretty great conversion. Talk to 5, hope you get 2. That's about a 40% conversion. That's pretty high when the average marketer does 1 to 2%. I don't know what makes you think you can change the rules. So curious cues, noticed, wondered, saw. Hey, I saw on your Facebook page where you're looking for ways to expand your income models. I don't know, whatever it is. What did you see on their page? Here's collaborative. So there's safe words we just talked about. Quick, idea, worth, open, using those in a sentence. Those are safe words. Curious words. Hey, I noticed, I wondered, I saw. That's signal relevance and personalization. And then there's collaborative, right? You know these words. You understand what this means. Together, with, explore. Feels like a partnership, not a pitch. Collaborative, together, with, explore. This isn't rocket science, although it is rocket science because most people never study it. And it's real simple to get the ship off the ground, right? When does a ship use its most fuel? When does a plane use its most fuel? To get it off the ground, to get momentum. And we're using crappy, ridiculous language that has no energy in it, that transfers no motivation and no conversation. And we wonder why we can't get off the ground. So if you were to rewrite this, I'd be curious what it would look like. So here's a DM. Here's a DM. What would you do? How would you rewrite it to lower the defenses and increase curiosity? I'm going to give it to you, and I'm going to give you a minute or so for you to rewrite it and see what your brain comes up with. So here's the conversation. We help companies like yours. You can write it down so you can translate it. We help companies like yours generate 25% more revenue. We help companies like yours generate 25% more revenue. When's a good time to talk? Man, that's straightforward. It's clear. It's concise. It's to the point. We help companies like yours generate 25% more revenue. When's a good time to talk? Man, that sounds tight. What's it doing in the amygdala based upon what we just learned? What did it do to the sympathetic nervous system? How would you rewrite that? Here's an example. Over the course of the last 6 months, many of our clients have seen a 25% increase in their revenue. It really helped their bottom line, and they were excited to see how simple it was to make the improvements. Would this be an idea worth exploring? Kind of off the cuff. What'd you come up with? And if you're going, I don't know, my brain doesn't work that way. Jim Rohn would say, that's a clue. That's a clue. Maybe you should invest some of your hard-earned income so that you can start to get some income coming back in, and we should have a conversation. Wouldn't it make sense now that if this is something you've not heard before, it would make sense to hear it some more so that you can use your skills, your talents, your abilities to actually engage people, to want to know how amazing your products are, how incredible your services are? So here's the high response framework, right? PEACE, write it down, P-E-A-C-E. It's the PEACE method. Digital prospecting framework. So the P in PEACE is personal. Use their name, connect, and not their name and a canned script below. Maybe if you found a script that works universally. I don't know, as many years as I've been connecting and communicating with people, I found a canned script that says, hey, I love you. That's a canned script, and copy their name in the top. But if it's their name, hey, Tom, and then space below, you know it's a canned script. If there's no comma, right? If there's two spaces, because when you copied it in, it already put a space in underneath. Nobody hits the return button twice, unless, of course, you're a stenographer. So the P is personal. Use name and connect. Name and context. Why are you calling them? What is their name? Why did you use their name? The E, PEACE, P-E-A-C-E, is emotionally safe. No pressure language. The E in the PEACE digital framework is emotionally safe. No pressure. The A is aligned. Show relevance to them, not your pitch. Show relevance to them, not your pitch. You know your pitch. They don't know your pitch. They don't know how amazing your pitch is to serve them, to bring them value. And if you can't talk to them, they're never going to get to see how valuable your pitch is, your product is, your service is. So P, personal. E, emotionally safe. A, aligned. C, curiosity. Use a like question to open a loop. Use a like question to open a loop. PEACE, P-E-A-C-E. The E is easy, next step. Low friction call to action. My daddy always said, low friction call to action. My daddy always said, the only reason you're on this appointment is to confirm the next appointment. Oh, you'll have conversation and light talk and small talk and business talk and engineering talk and conversations and sales talk. You do not leave an appointment unless you have set the next appointment. That's why I have the phrase, I'll see you at the next event. Thinking of my dad, brain reset. So here it is, the PEACE, the digital framework for digital prospecting. PEACE, personal, use name and context. E, emotionally safe, no pressure language. A, aligned, show relevance to them, not your pitch. Curiosity, use a light question to open a loop of dialogue. And E, easy next step, low friction, call to action. Examples of high performing direct messages or text. Hey, Lisa, saw your post on scaling product onboarding. I help SaaS. I help SaaS teams reduce churn by optimizing that journey. Open to a quick idea? Hey, Lisa, saw your post on scaling product onboarding. I help SaaS teams, SaaS, sales, software as a service, right? That's what SaaS stands for. I help SaaS teams reduce churn by optimizing that journey. Open to a quick idea? Hey, Jason, noticed your team's hiring customer service reps. I work with RevOps leads to automate onboarding. Worth a quick chat? Doesn't it just sound natural? Doesn't it? Hey, yeah, okay. That fits me. That's designed for me. Okay. Yeah, it's worth a quick chat. No pressure. I might or might not like it. Hey, Sarah, your podcast episode on founder burnout really hit. I work with early stage founders on time leveraging tools. Want me to share something that's been working? Could you, even if you weren't a founder of a company, wouldn't you say yes to that? Doesn't it automatically bring well, I'd be curious about that if I ever become a founder. Hey, Sarah, your podcast episode on founder burnout really hit. Name, context. I work with early stage founders on time leveraging tools. Okay, that hits. Yeah, that's important. What do founders need? What do busy people, entrepreneurs need? Want me to share something that's been working? No. No, don't share anything. Isn't that cool? So, follow-up strategy. Use light, non-needy tone. Write that down. Non-needy tone. And there's places that you can use need. There's places where you can play on their heartstrings. Some of the biggest company launches where you use something similar to, hey, listen, I just started a coffee business and my product is arriving. Could I count on you to be a customer of mine? If you say yes and you enjoy it, outstanding. If you say yes and it doesn't fit your boat, you never have to buy from me again. Could I count on you for $1 or $2? That made somebody a multimillionaire. Pretty simple. So follow-up strategy, use light, non-needy tone, inject value, high insights, micro case study, or even humor. Respect silence. Never guilt them. Now, I told you the other day, one of the most powerful guilting lines that exist, have you given up on this project? That really puts them into a guilt state. It gets action, it gets response. You just have to be sure in your product. You have to realize that you are drawing a line in the sand. The reason most of us get frustrated is because we never draw a line in the sand. We never say, how much of my time is worth feeling frustrated, aggravated, agitated, and upset by not getting the 2 people I talk to. This is a numbers game. And the challenge is most people don't have enough numbers to play the game. Right? It's the ante up. Minimum bet, blackjack table, minimum bet, $5, minimum bet, $21. I don't go to the $21 table or the $20 table. I go to the dollar table, minimum bet, because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. What's your minimum number? I'll tell you what your minimum numbers would be. If you had minimum numbers of 1,000 people on an email list, anytime you wanted to launch something, you could go give yourself a raise. The challenge is you've got over 1,000 people. You've dealt with 1,000 people of names you've collected, you've contacted, you've communicated with over the course of your business careers. You just don't have a way to talk to them now. That's your fault. That shame on you. Your email list, your contact list, you got 1,000 people in your phone. You're afraid to talk to them because you don't have a connection. I changed that. You could start today making a connection, opening up a loop of dialogue, of conversation. Doesn't have to be a sales pitch, although most people make it that. Silence isn't rejection. It's cognitive overload. Keep follows up spaced and sympathetic and empathetic. Keep your follow-ups empathetic. Yeah, I get it. You're busy. No worries. So here's the key takeaways. Your language determines whether you trigger curiosity or defense. You can write down, do I trigger curiosity or defense? The brain wants clarity. The brain wants context. The brain wants control. Do you give it? Do you give the control? And then we came up with an anagram today, the peace method, right? What's the peace method to lower resistance? So there you go. Questions, comments, thoughts, takeaways. Would you learn? Would you like? Questions, content. Questions. Okay. I hope everybody has a great day. If you have no questions or conversations.
I have questions.
Okay, good morning.
Good morning. I was waiting for someone else to ask questions.
Okay.
But since no one has any questions, I have questions. I understand it has a lot to do with, as you were saying, as you wording things.
Yep.
So for me, the struggle is to word them as to lower people's defenses.
Right.
So
in order to lower somebody's defenses, would you talk more about what you want or what they want?
what they want.
Right.
Well, I do know that, but I mean, still, yeah, I don't know. That's why I'm asking.
Okay. So when somebody opens up a dialogue with you as it relates to travel, you might ask them, hey, listen, if you found a travel program that gave you the best possible deals with the most flexibility, where would your first trip be?
Yes.
Wouldn't that be the same as, hey, listen, you want to get started? It's great pricing, discounts, and you'll be able to use it whenever you want to travel. Now I got to think of where am I going to travel to use this versus if you got the best deal at the best possible time for you, it made sense for you. Where would your first trip be? Ooh, where would I go versus what would I buy? Same result.
Okay, well, certainly that makes sense, but that is more geared for customers.
Okay.
So let's talk about, for instance, the message I sent you about the man yesterday.
Yep.
Did you get a chance to read that?
I did, and one of the things was
that said, you know, he was really broke, really worried, because they'd lost, I don't know, they probably lost a lot of money in their 401k. His wife still had to work, and they live in North Carolina. So this is a little bit of background. I don't think that was literally on there. He was just telling me about his money struggles, which also cost him is causing him a lot of stress, because it's causing him now medical problems.
Yep.
Yes, which makes sense because, you know, so how would I best answer that?
Okay, so let's do a little diagnostic based upon what you just shared with me, and there may be some variables to it.
Yeah.
Real basic, 30,000-foot view. Does it sound like he has any control over his finances, or is his finances being dictated from the outside in?
I think he has control to
He
a
does.
certain amount.
So then
Well,
why is he
maybe,
broke?
I'm sorry.
So then why is he broke? Why is he struggling with money if he has control over it? He has
Well,
no control over it.
and I think he feels like he has no control over it. Okay, he has probably no control over his 401k. Also, he could probably, I don't know how old they are. They're an older couple. I met them at
You're
Ray
going down
Hickman's
a
event.
path that I didn't ask. All I asked was that you're adding way too much into the context. My question was, does he have control over his finances or not?
Well,
It's a yes or no.
no, he feels he doesn't.
Excellent. So then then my point of conversation with him is, hey, listen, it sounds like things have gotten out of control with the way you create income or your investments work for you. Would you be open to finding out how you could put control back into your hands?
That's a good one. Of course, I didn't ask that.
Right. And because we're too busy about selling our product versus understanding where they're at. And this isn't just you. This is 98% of network marketers or 98% anybody who has an issue. They're like, shit, they got a problem. I still got to sell my product. No, I promise you, in this situation, you can give me any product that I can help convert, any product, any service, any technology. If I show him how he can gain control over his finances, he ain't going anywhere. Nobody has talked to him about control, is it okay if you got control back over your finances? I don't know how that's possible. I understand that. Would it be okay if it happened though? Because now we start to get into a debate. You have a product, Silke, that if somebody uses and follows the system, they can create an income. 100% guaranteed. 100% guaranteed. 401k ain't guaranteed. Stock market ain't guaranteed. This is the only one of the few business models that if you follow the system, we won't hold people's feet to the fire to follow the system. If you hold somebody's feet to the fire and they're willing to be taught, to learn, you can make money in network marketing easily, effortlessly. Problem is everybody adds their own little 2 cents in. You're dealing with the brain. You can't add your 2 cents in when you're dealing with the brain. But we think it's script and conversation. I feel good saying this. I don't want to make them feel bad. They already feel bad. They just told you, I feel bad. I'm sick. I got to go to the doctor. I don't have any control and my wife is working. Great. How's that? You want to keep doing that? They gave you all of the buying signals, all of the pain. Okay.
Yes,
So
they did, but I didn't know what to. That's why I
I
sent
get
you
it.
the
I get
message.
it.
I didn't know. I mean, that's a lot to tell me about your
That's why.
financial situation. And yes,
So we start at the top of the mountain. Where's their biggest pain? His biggest pain is he's got no control over his income. And you're going to find this is a lot of the people you talk to.
see, and I didn't see that about not having control. Yeah, I mean, you're looking at things differently. Yes, I thought he was looking for a solution to fix it versus fix his control. I would
And
have
your
never thought of
solution may
that.
or may not work for him comfortably to be controlled, but to open the dialogue, to have more conversation. Hey, listen, you're probably not alone. A lot of people have lost control over their finances. It's why I really enjoy what I get to share with people. Would you be open to having a conversation? Wait, you're saying that I'm assuming that you teach people how to get control over their life. Now, the hard part, the conversion. So here's the next part. If somebody says, okay, tell me what it is, I want control back. The challenge is that no one is taught, or very few people have learned, that network marketing is a profitable business model. But soon as they say network marketing, the response is, right? Because this is given response. This is, I say, you respond. We say it's network marketing or home-based business or side gig. People are like, oh, I've tried that. So we have to set the stage. This is key to understand. We have to set the stage for them to realize they don't know what the heck they're talking about. Because if they did, they'd be doing it. You're not a goofy person. You're funny, you're joyful, you're happy, you've got emotional swings. You're a human being, but you're not a goofball. If you if with all of your experience and all of your skills and all of your talents, if you think network marketing is valid, I maybe need to take a look at it. You're not just some Joe Blow off the street who's going, oh man, listen, we'll do 5 to 10 years in the prison, but we'll make a lot of money before we go. No. But that's how people see it.
Well,
So
and
now, go ahead.
in his case, he already does a network marketing company. I don't know if he's doing two. He said he was doing two things, but I know one of them is because he sends me those cards. It's called send out card.
Send out cards. Yep.
Yes, so he sends me very nice cards. I think they come about once a month.
Yep.
Yes. So, but it probably is not profitable for him.
No,
Apparently.
no, because if he's sending them out to a bunch of people of professionals like you, and your response is probably the same as everybody else's. Oh, nice card from Tom or whoever, right? So here's a question then. So now that you gave me a little bit more information, how would you like to be able to send cards and get paid for people to travel?
How would you be able to repeat that again? It's not
right.
making
So if he's in send out cards, hey, listen, what if sending cards opened up people to travel and you got paid?
that's
See, the
yeah.
challenge is too many people want, well, listen, my father-in-law said this: you can't ride two horses with one ass. I get it, but I'm not going to tell him his send out cards isn't working and you should do my travel. What I would say is, so I got to figure out, so imagine if he put what if he put the monthly dream trip? Now I know that you don't use that language, but just for sake of conversation, what if he put the destination image on the monthly dream trip and said, hey, listen, our company, one of my businesses, because he's a business entrepreneur, it's okay for you to have businesses.
Yeah.
One of my businesses just offered an unbelievable deal and it's Italy, it's the fountain in Rome, it's Italian food. And those were the images he put on his card. Now, all of a sudden, his send out cards became a marketing piece as opposed to an expense.
Oh, that's an amazing idea. I wonder if you can do that with send out cards.
Sure you can. All he's saying, and listen, you're sending a card, it's called prompting. Send out cards, the founder's name is prompting. I got a prompting. Hey, listen, here's an amazing location.
That's an amazing idea. Because I don't know how it's set up, because it always comes.
Yeah, it's automatic. I know. I have send out cards.
Oh,
I have send out cards.
oh, okay. So then how does he set it up? So does he find the pictures, or does it automatically find
It automatically
pictures?
does it, unless he thinks of you. It's a prompting. But if it shows up on the same day each month, then
I don't know whether it shows up on the same day each month. I mean, they're nice cards, but and so I to say thank you. But on the other hand, I mean, I don't see the purpose of them, to be honest. But this is a great idea. You were just saying that to put that on his send out cards. I mean, yes, what a great idea.
For $1, listen, for $1, you get into somebody's eyeballs. You may think, hey, listen, because I think they have a free version, a customer version, and then they have a business version. If I was doing what you do, you might think about it, not to add more expense to it, but you can go send a free card. He can give you a link to send 2 free cards. I'd go play with it and see if it's worth your time for free.
No,
oh, really? So you don't want to grow your business?
Well, not that way.
Well, so you don't want to use an easy method to get into people's eyes and have them absolutely. A card is opened 100% of the time where your messages aren't. I'm just saying, don't say, well, I don't do that. Then you need to get better at your other things.
Well, okay, it's.
Go ahead. Tell me. You've got all reasons why you don't want to do successful things.
Well, how
It's
successful is
frustrating
it?
for you. I get frustrated for you because you have
Because
such skills and talents.
I'm not big on cards. I don't,
Okay.
so I would,
So
it doesn't
big
do
on.
anything for me.
Okay. So
So
what are you big? Well, it's not
that's
about
it. I
you.
mean, who gets excited when they get a card? Some people might.
Anybody in the chat, if you got a card from somebody, do you get excited when you get a card for somebody? Drop an E in the chat. I don't know. We'll see. There's 8 people here. Let's see how many people drop an E. There's 1, 2. We're already at 20, but above 20%. 3, 4, 5, 6. Wow. Looks like everybody gets excited when they get a card except you.
Yeah, because I don't know.
Yeah.
I never have been. The only time when people send me cards for my birthday, the only time I get excited if there's money in there. So
Well,
I would
that's
only
you.
open it. I would look if there was money. If there wasn't, then yeah, that's me.
Yeah,
So
but you're not marketing to you. That's why you don't find you on a trip. You're the only one that's you, Silka. I would look at other ways that people that's easy, fall off a log to get excited, to get people excited. Just saying.
well, I
Everybody here would get excited about a card. And you're
okay.
like, well,
So
I don't, so I'm not going to use it.
but he likes it. So
Sure.
let's not worry about me. Let's worry about
Well,
him
I'm worried
because
about you because you
he
want to create
already.
some income. You're
Yes,
the
I
only one
have
I'm
to,
worried about. I don't
but
care
not
about him.
but not with send out cards.
Okay. I'm
Yeah.
not telling you to do it. I'm saying you can go get Vistaprint. Scott Schilling has a printing company. You can get them at a 40% discount off of Vistaprint. So I'm just saying there's ways for you to get into people's eyes that's non-threatening, that you're doing income producing activities. So back to him, say, hey, listen, have you ever
Yes,
thought
because
about
he already.
leveraging your send out cards to
Yes.
build additional businesses?
Yes, that's a great idea for him because he loves this business and he's been with his send out cards probably for years.
And you know what one of the things is that send out cards teaches is they teach salespeople to use send out cards to create contacts. They go to every car salesman, go to every small business owner, because they can set it up automatically. They upload their Excel spreadsheet of contacts, and the system will go, okay, we'll send out a card. Hey, listen, we're thanking of you. Thanks for being a customer. And it goes out the same card to all of their list.
Yeah.
So they teach how to use send out cards to build other businesses. Just because you're in send out cards doesn't mean you can only build send out cards business.
Right. That's a great idea. Maybe he's not thinking about that.
Oh, I'm sure he's not thinking about that. Nobody thinks about that. They
Well,
did
Sean,
what I said.
Sean Murphy thinks
Well,
about
that's what I'm
that.
saying. If they thought about it, my idea wouldn't sound brilliant. It's not brilliant. It's just basic business sense.
So how am I going to approach that with him?
Hey, listen, tell me more about your send out cards business. I'm curious how you're leveraging it.
Ah, there we go. And then since you know how the system works, how would he be able to put that on there? I mean,
well, so you can put any photo that you want, any photo that you can create, Canva or copied from the internet. You can put it on the front of the card, and you could put a travel location. You could put a travel discount. You could put big savings, right? Save 40% on hotels, whatever the marketing material says.
Oh, that's amazing. Yes, because
And so now
I mean,
it's
that's brilliant.
Now it's like an ad.
That's brilliant. And then he would feel good because he's using his send out cards
To
in a
actually create income versus outgo. He sends you a card. What the hell's the big deal of sending you a card? You don't. If he knew you didn't even like it, he'd take you off the list instantly. He doesn't know you don't like cards. That cards make you upset.
They don't. I
They
didn't
make
say
you upset. If they don't have money in them, they're a waste. It's a waste of your time.
that
Right?
is true, but it doesn't make me upset. I
Yeah.
have some of them actually right here in my bedroom. I stood them up because they're pictures that he got off my Facebook.
So this is about relevance. And because they were important to you, you kept them. This is why it's important that if you just used the secret, you proved the secret language of what's in it for me.
I have a picture right here. He sent me a card of myself and Tom Chenault.
So he knows how to get to you where nobody else's cards can get to you. You have his on your, every day you see those on your dresser.
Well,
wherever they
because
are.
they're nice cards, so I just put them up.
Sure,
But
but they mean something to you.
but well, yes, they are
Yes,
memories.
they mean something to you.
They're memories. They're memories because we don't have physical photos anymore unless there's a reason we
Unless
have
a
to
guy in
make.
North Carolina sends you a send out card. So it works. The program
But
works.
it's not generating him any income.
But there's other people who when they see that, they go, I would like to send more of these kinds of photos to other people. You don't like to send cards, so you wouldn't want anybody else to have your picture or you wouldn't want anybody else thinking about you when they look at a card.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's an interesting business model. And that's if it's so easy to get people to think about you, man, I'd be doing that all day long. I show up and do a call every morning and I send out a link. So this is my send out cards.
Well, I send messages to people that I think of them.
Right. But you don't send cards.
Or no. And I don't even, I used to send Christmas cards. And, in the olden days, whenever we traveled, we would always send out, a card from wherever the place was.
Yep.
Yes. And I had like an address book I would carry around and I would send them to my friends and family. It was like a normal thing to do.
Yep.
But we no longer do that now because we post everything on social media so they can see, where we are, or we'll just send them a text message with pictures in it. So things have changed a lot. But yes, when I was a little girl and when I was traveling, even as a teenager, yes, I sent them. But then when social media came, we stopped sending them, and I also don't send any more Christmas cards. As we used to send
those are your
Christmas cards.
listen, let's get back to building your business. Whether you send cards or not, that's not something you're going to use. So you got to use other tools.
No, but he will. Will. I think he would be so happy. I don't know why he never thought of it before, because he's been probably doing the send out cards for millions of years.
Well, however long. It's just that we don't think there's a way to leverage the business. I'm send out cards and they create a culture and it's like send out cards is the only thing. Okay. How's that working for you? If you're supposed to go teach other people how to grow their business by using your tools and they're using your tool to grow their business, why don't you use the tool of travel to grow your income?
That's such, yes.
So if your job is to create income and take care of your family and get control back over it, does it matter how it happens? As long as it's ethical, moral, and above the law?
No.
As long as you're doing legal, ethical, and moral, shouldn't you take care of your family this week better than you did last week?
Yes, absolutely.
Excellent. I've got a business model that could help do that. Don't tell me, oh, well, it's another company, because now you're deciding to not take care of your family. I don't care how uncomfortable it is. Until you get control back, you need to do the uncomfortable. Oh, and I'd mention that to you too. You'd have to do the uncomfortable to get control back. And maybe sending out cards is uncomfortable, but I promise you, your business will grow different than it's ever grown before. But that's another story. You get to decide that.
Yes, but I think this is a very great idea for him.
Yep. Cool.
I will share that with him.
Awesome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Who else? Thoughts, comments, questions, takeaways, take with yous as we wrap up this morning? Okay. Keep track of the peace method. If you use the peace method, you'll probably bring some peace to yourself. All right, my misfits. I hope today brings you great joy. No call this evening. We'll get back on those schedules next week. So no call tonight at 8 p.m. I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow morning, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. We've got our our grass cutting equipment back. So I got to get caught up here on the ranch. So it's going to be some long, hot days. And plus, there's supposed to be some rain on and off today. So I got to cut in between the rain. Love you tons. I'll see y'all where?
At the next event.
At the next event. Somebody give me some Costa Ricas.
Pura vida.
Ah, Vita, we love you, Mark. And some Lydias.
Peace be with us all.
Peace be with us all. The queen of helping you get your travels in order, Jessie Lee Ward.
Sleep.
Boss Lee, we love you, girl. A little white, fluffy, fluffy.
Gurgly, gurgly.
Lee, we love you, feet. Have some fun today. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you got any questions, reach out. I'll talk to you soon. Till then, bye for now.